each of the front and it's the presentation of Michel.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am a linguist, neurolinguist and semiotician by training, and I've had an interest in rights of nature for quite a few years after taking an interest in wild law as well. And today, I'm afraid I don't have any pictures, not even slides for you, but just a very formal speech. The first part of which is a cover letter for Rights of Mother Earth that I wrote at Doris's request. And the second part is a few remarks concerning this declaration. We, members of civil society, human beings of Mother Earth, to the Secretary General of the United Nations, to all heads of states and governments, to all people in charge of public or private institutions, to all human beings, again bring to your attention the proposal for a Universal Declaration of Rights of Mother Earth, adopted on 22nd of April 2010 at Cochabamba, Bolivia. The proposal initiates recognizing what great destruction, degradation, and disruption of Mother Earth have taken place, putting life as we know it today at risk, and considering that we are all part of Mother Earth, an indivisible living community of interrelated and interdependent beings with a common destiny, affirm that to guarantee human rights, it is necessary to recognize and defend the rights of Mother Earth and all beings in her. The project reminds mankind that our well-being, our life, and our survival, as a species and as individuals, depend on other beings and ecosystems. All beings of Mother Earth are therefore entitled to pursue their own life and the conditions adequate to their development and well-being, as long as they do not cause an imbalance within Mother Earth. As a consequence, the proposal reminds us that all human beings, all states, and all public and private institutions must act in that direction without delay. We call upon you to legitimize the proposal, to bring it to the head of your constitutions or statutes, and to grant it legislative, financial, and enforcement powers to bring it to reality. I shall add a few personal remarks to this address. The proposal for a Universal Declaration of Rights of Mother Earth has been inspired by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948, drafted in French and English, which was modeled on the French Declaration of Human and Civic Rights of 1789, still alive within the French Constitution. This proposal therefore follows the path of a well-established tradition. It is important to remember the spirit rather than the letter of the proposal. Our multiple histories, the wealth and diversity of our languages and cultures, our individual and collective experiences make us understand some terms otherwise. Different realities are often hidden behind the same words. To illustrate this point, the 17th and last article of the French Declaration of 1789 affirms the right to property as inviolable and sacred. The same right, guarantor of liberty in the French legal spirit, is condemned by other civilizations who can only see it as a right to unbridled exploitation. What should be banned is not so much the right to property, but the right to exploit. The right to exploit human beings and the right to exploit Mother Earth and all the beings within her. Various paths can lead to the same goal, and the aim of the proposal for a Universal Declaration of Rights of Mother Earth is to live well together. Each culture can find the right words to make the spirit of the proposal alive. Let us remind ourselves of the preamble of the French Declaration of Human and Civic Rights of 1789. Ignorance, forgetfulness, or contempt of rights are the only causes of public misfortunes and the corruption of governments. And we could add today of the misfortunes of Mother Earth and the corruption of public or private institutions. To combat ignorance, forgetfulness, and contempt, and guarantee rights, the 1789 Declaration calls for a public force, the consent of all citizens to taxation, and the accountability of administration to citizens. Let us also remind ourselves of the American Declaration of Independence of 1776. At present, we could paraphrase an excerpt of the second paragraph as follows. The history of the present global consumer society is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over Mother Earth. In its second paragraph, the American Declaration of Independence stipulates that the role of governments is to guarantee the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and, I quote, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government. The present purpose is of course not to abolish any form of government, but to insist that rights be respected and extended to Mother Earth. Those who forget or ignore the fundamental principles established in the American Declaration of Independence and in the French Declaration of Human and Civic Rights, those who forget or ignore the evidence that points to our imminent self-destruction will be individually and collectively responsible for catastrophic effects for life on Earth, including human disasters on an unprecedented scale. And we all do forget or ignore to a greater or lesser extent. Environmental law has been very helpful in reminding us of our duties towards the environment. The European Union has played a leading role, and member states have followed. We are grateful for advances at all international, national, and local levels. For instance, since 2004, France has integrated the Charter for the Environment to its constitution. Yet we have to be watchful. For instance, more recent decisions of the French Constitutional Council dampened the constitutional status of the Charter. Moreover, the very notion of environment is in itself a barrier to an implementation of adequate rights and laws. Humans represent themselves as separated from the environment. Yet, we know that such a representation is biologically untrue. We are made of the same building blocks as other beings, and our skin, lungs, and digestive tube are not unassailable limits. On the contrary, our skin, lungs, and our digestive tube are the sites of constant exchanges between our body and the environment. The environment is therefore, in fact, inside us. This statement is an oxymoron, and it would indeed make more sense to say that nature is in us and that we are nature. Yet, this is not quite true either. Human beings have poured so many magnetic particles into nature that these have found their way into the bodies of many living beings, including humans. Some of these particles, as we have recently discovered, induce all sorts of health problems, including malformations, cancers, neurodegenerative diseases, and a diminishing capacity to reproduce. The proposal for a universal declaration of rights of Mother Earth opens the door to a legally and biologically realistic view of humans and other beings, and the ECI project is a step in that direction. We have a dream A dream that all human beings, all public and private institutions are never aiming at exploiting other beings. A dream that all human beings are caring for all beings of Mother Earth. A dream that we are living well together in our wonderful diversity. Ladies and gentlemen, we pledge you to give due consideration to the proposal for a Universal Declaration of Rights of Mother Earth, so that the dream come true.